उनकी तरफ से hello.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hi.
am I audible?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can see you. Hi, how are you?
Good.
Yeah, so this is a recorded session, okay? So we're going to record it and then it will be on YouTube. All right. So, yeah, hi, how are you? How are you doing? You back at office?
Not really. No. I'm still.
Still working from home. All right. So this is Sandeep Newal. He is the co-founder of Matic, now Polygon. It is one of the top 20 cryptocurrencies in the world and first blockchain startup from India, and which is known worldwide now. So we'll start with him. And first of all, you can just tell us a little bit about you. What are you right now? I mean, what is going on with Matic these days?
So my brief introduction is I'm one of the co-founders at Matic Network, which eventually uh, transformed into Polygon. And the Polygon is basically an enlarged vision of Matic Network. Like Matic Network started with a layer 2 technology, and Polygon actually is basically a framework to add multiple layer 2 approaches on
Okay.
top of Ethereum. So previously, you can think of it like previously we were focused on one particular approach. Now
Right.
we are focused on multiple, approaches.
Right.
So
All right.
that's the brief idea about it. Yeah.
All right. So I have actually put the questions on the chat box here, and you can see. We can start with the first question. How did it start, and how did you? I mean, how the idea came into picture, and how did you get the first investment, and how did it actually start?
Yeah. So I think I and Jayanti we met my our my other co-founder,
Right.
and he's the technical mastermind of the Matic Network. So
Right.
he was working on some of these things, and I was also very active in crypto community, and on the from the technical point of view, right? So I used to solve like people's technical queries and whatnot, and I was also having my own startup or kind of a consulting company which was helping people to build D apps, and I was
Right.
already very aware that this is a very big problem for D apps, that for Ethereum gas fees. Even back then, even though the gas fees was like hardly $1, $2, but then for a simple dApp, like imagine you had to kind of somebody's building a Twitter kind of an application, and you have to pay
Exactly. Right.
$1, $1.50 for every tweet. So you can't do. So that's when, like, I think Jayanti was active with the Plasma, developer
Networks. Yeah.
group.
Yes.
So from there, like he built a small POC and he showed it to me also, and I was also very excited. And I said that yeah, let's join hands and do something cool on this and all that. So then we formed coalition. From there, Anurag, our third co-founder, used to work from the same co-working space as Jayanti did. So we all three then teamed together and started. And the first investment, I think I got it from my flatmate. So and then like some of the JD's friends and all that. So whole round was filled by mine and Jayanti's friends, basically, who believed in us. So, and then we raised a very small amount, I think 150K or something like that, and then started working on it. After that, like this was just the starting of the beer market, and then beer market hit, and we had a lot of issues, especially coming from India.
Right.
Nobody
Exactly.
really, trusted on us. Everybody thought that we are also just another scam and all that. And
Exactly.
because beer market, nobody was investing. So we had a very long kind of 1 year kind of fighting time where there were a lot of problems. Sometimes some of the funds who got to know that okay, this is a solid team, they almost were about to put two times. It happened that they were about to send the money, and then crashed another 50% or whatnot.
Right.
So then they also stopped. So But then eventually Binance, we did analysis with Binance, and then Binance realized that this is really cool. Then they sort of started investing.
So you started back in 2017, right?
We started back in 2017, end of 2017 actually.
Okay. So, and it might have been like very difficult, because at that point of time, I remember, I think it was June or something like that, when June, or I think April, when India banned cryptocurrencies, and it was very difficult to find investors. And I think
that was a big blow, but I don't think that affected a lot of VC market anyways, because VCs were anyways not investing. Nobody was
exactly right.
And any VCs we had at that point in time were all like crypto traders basically, who became VCs. So no legit VC or kind of advanced.
So you guys tried approaching VCs, or you didn't even try?
We did try one or two, in between, especially at the end of 2017 when markets were really, or early 2018 when markets were really hot. Then some of them were interested. I would not,
I got it.
They kept on doing analysis, and never really happened.
Absolutely. So let's move to the next question. Can you tell us more about your crucial moments in the last 3-4 years of business? So what was the most important, one of the weakest moments, and what was the most happiest moments in the last 3-4 years of your journey?
I think there have been multiple weakest moments, like when we were no investment was coming in, all that, right? So and since I was handling all the business and investment and all those sides, so it was a big pressure, that how will we kind of support the team, even though it was a small team. So there were times where we had maybe 2 months of runway remaining and whatnot, and this is when we as co-founders were not even taking salaries and whatnot. It was a very, very tough time. I had to literally beg few other people that give us something and all that. So we got $10,000 from someone, and it was really.
So you guys had like a big team initially when you started, or you started like few people?
No, we started with 3 people, and then we hired like 3 or 4, 1 or 2 junior guys, 1 or 2 decently paid guys. So, but the burn rate was very small even that time.
Right. But hiring is still difficult in India, right? I mean, even if you talk about blockchain people.
Very difficult, but I don't think it's specific to India. It's everywhere, because demand and supply are like, there's a heavy.
Right. Yeah.
There is a heavy symmetry between demand.
And even if you're like working on something which is like banned by India, right? It's not, obviously blockchain is not banned by India, but the cryptocurrencies were banned in India. And people, like even the employers, were not like that familiar with it. And they were like, you're working on something that's illegal. So it's like very difficult.
No, it happened quite a few times where we hired and we liked a few guys, and they were about to join, and 3 days they are about to join, and suddenly they reply that I am not doing, because in India you have a lot of like some of these engineers, and very nice engineers, they have influence of their parents and all that, and
exactly
there are still guys, because those are like who are graduating out of college, they still go to your dad, then Papa, I'm working on this.
Absolutely.
I'm going to join this company, and then he would have said that, dude, this is scam, like this is illegal, why are we signing here? And then 2 days before they will say that I'm not joining and whatnot. This has happened multiple times. So
right.
And this all this while, like I think only now, like our kind of engineering and entrepreneurial elite is waking up to crypto, and then IITians and the various different top college students are interested now in this. But before, like that, I think if you go 1 year back, very, very difficult. Like nobody was even interested in
exactly. And I mean, it's very difficult to even find office space, get a bank, and like even if you tell them that you are dealing with cryptocurrencies, they're like very difficult. It was very difficult back then, right? Now it's like,
but then the good thing is that I was able to design a kind of an entity structure after like multiple hit and trials,
right.
That which now I'm very happy that most of the Indian companies are using. So they, like the Indian company, basically you completely keep it immune from crypto. You simply create a
Right.
kind of technology firm which
Yeah, yeah.
involves to an external.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Then
Yeah.
just keep it extremely clean of crypto. So that
Yeah, yeah.
there are 3 entity structures. So many teams use that now.
Okay, okay, okay. So, acha. So we're moving to the next question. How was the 2-year beer market? And obviously, I mean, there might be a lot of weak moments in it, but what was the weakest moment? I mean, obviously, you told me
Uh,
about the, yeah.
Yeah, so beer market, like weakest moment for the beer market, I already told, where our runway was almost over and all that. So, but then once the market started coming back, 2019, there was a mini
Right.
sort of mini,
Bull
very mini
market.
bear market, bull market,
Bull
and then
market, right?
again like it went down.
Mm-hmm.
So, but in that market, we did our Binance IEO in 2019. It became
Okay.
insanely successful. We again, right at the start, we became one of the most talked about project in the space
Right.
and everything. And then from there, what happened is that this was 12th of December 2019, where our token was doing abnormally well. Like everything
Okay.
else was down, and but Matic was like just going up and up. And
Okay.
then suddenly we had a 70% drop in a single day in the
Right.
token
Right.
price.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that became global news. Forbes covered it and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So the problem was, I think there was some sort of issues or bugs. I think it
Right.
people think, or maybe some people uses complicated strategies for
Right.
sophisticated strategies for future markets with spot
Right.
markets and whatnot, leverage trading. That's what we got to know from the people who we asked how it happened.
Right.
But that was the worst time. Like all the reputation we had built in the last 6 to 8 months after this
Mm-hmm.
1.5 years of beer market and coming out, that suddenly like everybody's like, no, we told you like how you can't trust Indians,
Mm-hmm. Right.
whatnot.
Exactly. There's a lot
And
of fun. Right. Yeah.
lot of
Exactly.
fun and all that, and people like thinking that okay, we dumped it. Like the biggest and the most painful
Exactly.
part was
Right. Right.
that
Right.
we dumped our tokens. We were like,
Right.
guys, like
Exactly.
it's crazy. Why would we do that? Why would we
Right.
kill
Right. Right.
our own project then? But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of structure is like very different to what we have in the real other world, right? This kind of structure where we have to answer to each and every investor and have to manage the fund. It's very difficult sometimes, right? So you have a public, I think, a Telegram group and obviously a
Yeah.
Discord as well. I mean, where you have to answer, and like right now you are like too big to be FUD. Handle the FUD, but at some point you might have like faced a lot of FUD and things like
Oh,
that.
So
Yeah.
like every single person, like now it's very big community now. But if there was a
Right.
time where even one single person said something, and then it
Yeah,
used to give us nightmares and all that.
right, exactly.
But then yeah, like this industry is very different actually. But I think now the free markets have a tendency to evolve into better patterns.
Absolutely.
But previously I don't think that's the right pattern, is that let's say when you have Flipkart or Snapdeal or whatnot, right? And you are going public, so you are already you have put in like 6-7
Exactly.
years of work.
Right.
You have
Right.
pretty big team. You have regulated, kind of lawyers guiding you. You
Yeah,
are
yeah,
like
yeah.
already 1,000-2,000 crore company,
Right.
and all that, and then you go public. Here, you are like on day
Right.
zero, you are public with
Right,
5.
right.
You don't have the structure. You don't
Right,
have plans.
exactly.
You have nothing, and it's public.
Right.
So
Right.
I feel that eventually, like now how the market is evolving is that there are communities or projects in the space which work, like Bitcoin, for example, is a great example. Graph protocol was a great
Right.
example. Initially they had these products which everyone was using. They already
Right.
have big name. Then they come up
Exactly.
with the token. So they call
Token.
it like progressive decentralization. So I
Absolutely.
think that eventually can be a good model
Approach. Right.
for startups to have.
Right. Okay, let's move to the next question. So, what do you think can be the issues with Matic and the side chains, and how do you plan to resolve it?
So the problem is that even though we have, like as I was telling you, that Polygon is a multi-solution approach, right? So
Right.
side chain or this commit chain is a one type of solution. So this does not represent issues
Okay.
with Polygon overall. This
Right.
represent issue with one solution that Polygon is providing. Second thing is that these issues are very subjective in nature. Like if they were not subjective and it was white, black and white, then you would not see $8 billion on this chain and thousands and
Absolutely.
thousands of users and 7 million transactions a day. The the reason is that there are always trade-offs that you take between various solutions. So what you see on Twitter is like debate between purist, like layer 2 purist, which want everything to be captured on Ethereum and everything is fully defensible on Ethereum,
Right.
for a layer 2, versus this approach where not everything is defensible with Ethereum, but some things are, right? And then there is a scheme which is simple side chain where nothing is dependent with Ethereum. So there is a spectrum, like pure side chains, then there is middle commit chain kind of solution, and then the pure layer 2. So we are somewhere here, and the purists are, why are you not here on this point, right? But the problem is that those, first of all, none of these solutions is even now is publicly available. Only Arbitrum has recently launched.
Absolutely.
And then it is going to take time for this to evolve, right?
Absolutely.
And then those solutions also, it's highly debatable that once they start scaling and they have to put so many transactions on Ethereum, how their those things will pan out in terms of the gas fees transaction.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean
those are very difficult sort of issues.
Yeah,
and we'll get to know. So that's why, like, this is basically some purists, some people don't like you, some people like, they are like, how did these guys did so well and all that. And we kind of, like, the whole community appreciates our overall, like, community support and business development and everything on the top of the tech that we have built. People don't realize that, and eventually we are now launching multiple different more solutions, and they will keep coming. And people will see overall that it will be a very the main goal of Polygon is having multiple solutions, and developer chooses that, okay, I need high security, let me go to a full layer 2. More scalability, little bit less security works for me, he'll go for this commit chain, things like that.
Right, exactly. And yeah, I mean, I saw a lot of articles, people are talking about the gas fees on Ethereum, right? It says Polygon have helped, I mean, in declining the gas fees of Ethereum, because a lot of solutions are actually moving to Polygon right now. Even I think you have had Aave, and I think few more protocols are actually moving to Polygon right now, right? If you want to talk about something like that.
Yeah. Right now, I think many people credit this recent lowering of Ethereum gas fees, which is a big honor for us to have.
Absolutely.
That now Ethereum gas fees are like $1, $2, $3, because all of these large gas use case scenarios moved on to Polygon,
absolutely,
like and whatnot, and only the larger gas fee scenarios are on Ethereum. And I think these will always be in a balance. Like when people see that, okay, layer 1 is having less gas fees, more people will start transacting here, and then lesser people will transact on this thing. When gas fees start increasing, then you will see more transactions there too. So that's why it's good for apps to have these multi-store kind of systems. Like they have multiple.
Exactly. And yeah, I mean, back in, I think, remember, like, I think March or something like that, BSC exploded, right? Because the gas fees problem with Ethereum, and people are trying to find a solution for the gas fees. And after that, I think April, Matic came into picture, and everybody was like, yeah, this is something which we can use, and we can still use Ethereum and be part of it and use a side chain such as Matic. And I mean, we don't have to migrate to BSC or something like that, right? So yeah, I mean, you guys literally helped Ethereum ecosystem a lot. And Vitalik was also
one of our that is one of our goals, that to help Ethereum and then its position as a very strong. I mean, we truly believe that Ethereum is the sort of the ultimate settlement, is going to be ultimate settlement layer for the global business logic to execute. Like people start confuse Ethereum and Matic with cryptocurrencies per se. None of these, like maybe Ethereum, but Polygon is not fighting to be cryptocurrency. We are a platform like AWS, like Amazon Web Service, where you can host your business logic. Right?
Absolutely.
So we believe that Ethereum is going to be the ultimate settlement layer for all this complicated business logic to settle. Bitcoin can be the currency or cannot be the currency. I can't comment much about it. But with Ethereum, I believe that all this advent of DeFi, NFT, and all this custom logic that can be computed on the blockchains, I think there Ethereum is definitely, we believe strongly, and our objective is to provide that scalability infrastructure around Ethereum, so that the world can we can move the or enable the world to experience Web3.
All right. So is Matic going to transition to rollups, and what will be the more use cases of Matic in future?
Yeah. Again, this question also doesn't again take into account the multi-solution approach of
Right,
Polygon.
right.
So this solution, the commit chain will remain here, but we will add rollups. We
All
will
right.
add rollups. We'll have optimistic rollups. We'll
All
add
right.
already launched the Polygon SDK. We'll
All
launch
right.
data availability solutions. So multiple such solutions we'll provide. And again, like if this podcast, let's say, has a lot of people who are interested in technology, they will
Technology,
understand,
right.
or work with technology, they will understand that just like AWS, where you can spin up your
Right.
let's say Windows server, Linux server, right, and you can spin up your data storage
Right.
and whatnot. That's the objective eventually, to be like
Right.
have a combined system, and a developer has the full choice.
So guys are recently only based in India. You have offices all over the world right now.
Yeah. I mean, now we are like fully decentralized. I and like my other co-founders also, like we moved out of India, starting 2020 itself. But
Okay.
then we went back home, and then the whole Corona thing happened. But technically, since 2020, we are operating out of India because of all the regulatory uncertainty.
Yeah,
and whatnot,
you
right?
guys are in US, or which part of the world are you?
Right now, I am in Belgrade, Serbia, where we
Okay.
have our co-founder, and
Okay.
we have people working here also.
All right.
We have people in the US, we have
Okay.
people from UK, Philippines. Like it's a
Right.
fairly global organization.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So as you explained, I mean, what are the next steps? You already explained. So what do you think is the future of cryptocurrencies and blockchain in India?
Yeah. So, see, I mean, if you like, with a high probability, it feels like we will again be the laggards in this space. Like, most likely we will again like simply stay out of the whole revolution.
Right.
And then when the whole world catches up, then we will try to when the
Exactly.
whole world proceeds ahead, then we'll play the catch-up game. But personally, I don't want India to, obviously I would not love India to play that role. I would love India to play a bigger role in this.
Right.
But it will need a lot of radical thinking at the scale of
Absolutely.
government, right? Because problem is that India is a very large and complicated country, right? And then
Right.
we had like, I still remember that when I used to be a kid, like there used to be these talks about the black markets in India. Even now, black money markets are there, and then they say that there's a shadow economy, which even is like 50% of our like official or formal economy, right?
Right.
So and then in the last 10-15 years, we have done a lot of work in bringing the technology stuff into the economy and all that. And then you bring crypto, and boom, like everything is off the window, right? So
Right.
I think it will be very painful or very difficult for Indian bureaucrats and
Accept it, yeah.
leadership to take positions, strong positions or leadership positions in it. So most likely that is going to happen. That we'll go slow. As we are going slow, we will bring in some restrictive regulation, then we'll start opening up over in the next 3 to 5 years.
Right.
Then like people, I think everyone else is like trying to coordinate with the government and trying to help government and all that. And I always advise in whatever public platform I am in,
Right.
that government should get crypto native people. Right now,
Right,
the
right.
people who are advising government are like IBM director of technology,
Right.
who has started looking into private blockchains recently and all that, and
Right.
they will give you those kind of advice only. But if
Right.
you have crypto native people helping the government, they can actually give you the picture into the brain of the kid who is, let's say, coming out of college, and he just got
Absolutely.
into it. He is never coming back. He's
Right,
never
right,
coming
right.
back. I know the people I know who work in crypto, like or blockchains, like who became startup developers. Like many of them don't hold any any large amount of assets in their bank accounts and all that. They
Right,
all hold
exactly.
crypto. They don't
Right.
want to. They just bring that
Right.
amount of crypto into their bank accounts, which is important
Required,
for them
yeah.
to survive, right?
Perfect.
Otherwise, they don't. And the other bigger problem is that brain drain is a very big issue in this scenario.
Right,
See,
right.
like when, let's say, you were a founder of let's say a small e-commerce startup, You
Mhm.
have no way to go out of India because you are doing business in India, right? You have
Right,
to
right.
stay in India, like for example,
Absolutely.
Ola, Uber, whatnot.
Mhm.
But in this scenario, you are not even doing your business in India. Your
Right,
business
right.
is completely outside. You have a
Right.
global audience, and you
Mhm.
are agnostic to which country they are coming from. You are
Right.
building for the globe. So the globe, this basically accelerates globalization to such a level
Perfect.
that
Right.
your brain drain becomes a very big problem. All these people can simply pick up a flight in 2 hours.
Mhm.
Anybody can be out of India and all that, working from
Right.
there. And if
Right.
India wants to kind of retain this talent, they need to create, I think we need something like these special economic zones kind of situations for
Mhm.
the crypto people if they want to remain in India. And then
Right.
special kind of differential taxation treatments, and then reporting treatments, whatnot. And then only I think India will be able to retain talent. Otherwise we'll see a large amount of our specialized people in this space simply move out of India.
Moving
And
out of there.
like I can't tell you so many,
Mhm.
like
Right.
99% of people simply want to move out of India. 99.
Absolutely.
It's very bad.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. You guys faced any issues in the past? I mean, due to government and everything.
not really, because I
Mm.
think till now government has been very I think they have what they say they have been doing. So
Right.
they have been very, like they have been tough on, let's say, people who are doing cryptocurrency exchanges, letting people
Mhm.
to buy. And I
Right.
think
Right.
some, like I'm pretty sure that they would have looked at Polygon also and Matic, and
Right.
they know that we are
Absolutely.
not a cryptocurrency business
Right.
letting
Mhm.
people to buy cryptocurrency,
Right.
sell
Right.
and all that. We are a technology platform, so we have technically never faced even a single problem till now in India.
Mhm.
And I don't know of any other team which is building an application, building a product,
Right.
apart from doing exchanges or crypto
Mhm.
trading related stuff, have been pulled up. So I think
Right.
something is going right on that. I hope that they are aware of this and then deliberately not intervening in this,
Mhm.
instead of just being not knowing about it at all right now.
Right.
But
Yeah. For
overall,
the
like hopefully this becomes like some special things we
Yeah, for the developers, it's nice, but for the investors, it's painful, still painful, right? I mean, in India, we don't have a special regulation right now. We don't know what we are going to pay for the taxes and whatever. I mean, it's going to be difficult, I think.
yep,
So let's move to the last question. And what and how should founders and investors be part of it? So how do you think? I mean, investors, people who know about, I mean, who don't know how to code, can be part of it, and people who are like founders, who are like startup owners and developers, they can be part of it.
yeah. So my suggestion on that would be that I don't know about the investors, because like people who are purely for the trading purposes,
Mm-hmm.
I mean they are all, like they have they can hire expertise and all that. And I think in crypto, if you want to be here, there is no other way but to be a part of community. You have to
Right.
actively contribute into the ecosystem, and then you get to learn more.
Mm-hmm.
So one is that. But for founders, I would say that a lot of founders I see, even like my batchmates who have done very successful startups, they keep asking me how to get more involved. I think the easiest, or the like, and this has worked also, the best way is you join the community and be like dip your toes into it, right?
Right.
Basically buy some
Mm.
cryptocurrency, like
Right.
invest some amount into it.
Right.
Like
Right.
when you let's say
Mm-hmm.
invest a very small amount, even if it's a very small amount, and then you, let's say, invest it in a particular token, let's say, and then let's say some DeFi token,
Mm-hmm.
you start following a lot of Twitter account, you
Right.
start following a lot of people who follow and talk about it and all that, and you get to experience some it, because it's a very
Right.
experiential journey. There is no, like, many people come to me that, is there a book I can start reading?
Right.
There is
Exactly.
no book.
Right.
At the end of the day, you have to be a part of community, you have to be a part of Telegram, those Discord groups, this Twitter. That's where you learn those ethos of the community. They can be
Right.
experienced, they cannot be learned, they can be experienced, right?
Right.
So that's my biggest like kind of advice, that do like a small investment into it, get more involved. Maybe even at least crypto Twitter also is a very good starting phase.
Right.
Whichever project you invest it, follow their co-founders and all that, follow their main Twitter handle, see what they are doing, understand their business model. It's a slightly longer kind of this thing, where you take 2-3 months, 4 months to
Right.
get up to speed. but then you understand some of it, because founders would be like, we are talking specifically about founders who would be already busy in their own stuff, right? If you
Absolutely.
are not a founder and you want to be a founder, I would say join as an intern position, right?
Right.
Somewhere in the company. There are so many companies, there's so much dearth of talent. If you don't have experience and you go
Right.
there and ask big salary, maybe people won't take you. But if you just offer them to yourself that I'm this and this, I've done this, I have this skill, but I am willing to just contribute. I am okay to work for 2 months, 3 months for free.
Right.
I think
Exactly.
once you get involved in a project, then your real journey starts.
And
So,
how did you actually start? I mean, you started directly from dApps, or I mean, you
yeah, for
started.
me, it was the same situation, because I was having my previous startup where I had a business role and I had stopped programming for quite some time.
Okay.
But I wanted to get deep into the programming. So I shut down my previous startup, right, and put it into sort of a zombie or coma mode.
Okay.
And
I see.
then, fully got here. Again, started programming after 5 years, because I wanted to have a deeper understanding. I did not
Right,
want to have a superficial understanding.
Right.
So I, for 2-3 months, I coded heavily, created
Right.
few apps, again invested on my side.
Okay.
We became a part of those communities,
Right.
whether on Telegram, whether on Google, whatever, and Twitter, and started learning more about these people over there. And that's where the
So any interesting projects coming, like a kind of a social thing coming on Matic? Any interesting projects coming on Matic? Maybe funded by you or around the ecosystem?
There are a lot, like, that way the list would be very big. Like in DeFi itself, I would say that TimeSwap is a very interesting project. Although full disclosure, my wife is one of the co-founders.
Okay.
But I think the way they are doing it is very, very different.
So TimeSwap is exactly kind of a swap happening on a specific time or something?
Yeah, I mean, it is sort of, it has been inspired from Uniswap, but Uniswap allows you to have spot swaps, right?
Okay.
Spot market. But this basically allows you to spot a swap into future markets.
Wow, okay.
And then future market, essentially, you can convert it into a lending and borrowing scenario.
All right.
Lending, borrowing, like futures is also.
So this is going to happen on Matic, right?
This is going to happen on
Ethereum,
on Matic, but also on Ethereum.
On Ethereum, okay.
This, I personally feel that this has a good potential to be a DeFi Lego or something.
Right.
So that is there, and then there are multiple such projects, like let's say, which ones I want to say.
Any kind of any kind of a social network, any kind of a e-commerce, or any kind of anything like that coming?
Yeah, so there is for example, there's a project called Coinwise, which is into social commerce, right? Coinwise. I mean, social tokens. Then there is Try Showtime is also a very interesting project. We are still not sure whether it will fully come on Polygon or it will go on Ethereum and whatnot. But we are very hopeful that it will be available on Polygon also. Similarly, there is one more team from India itself. It's called Sublime. They are also doing these social tokens.
Okay, interesting. So how do actually founders come and use Matic? Obviously, they can actually go to the website. Is there a way to actually be part of your community?
So if you want to learn Polygon, first learn Ethereum, because Ethereum is the base, right? So just start learning Ethereum. Once you learn Ethereum, you already know Polygon, because all you need to do is switch an RPC and switch the network, and then whatever you
exactly
your network, do.
Right.
Learn Ethereum, and then you will get to know Polygon automatically.
Right. Perfect. All right. Any advice or anything you want to share for all the people who are watching it?
I only advice is that, guys, this Web3 space is inevitable. Like even if you are sitting on the outlines, on the sidelines, this is going to be one of our biggest, just like we saw internet, then mobile, and then like SaaS and whatnot. This is this technology is not a pure technology per se. This is actually a change in the paradigm how we human beings interact with each other, and this is going to affect large parts of our lives, in every sphere of our lives, basically. And then this is, as I said, it's inevitable, and then the earlier you take a plunge into it, it will be beneficial, even if you don't want to do a startup in this space. But it will be very crucial for your overall, let's say, understanding of the overall economics, as well as the markets and all that. And eventually, I also feel that all the Web2 startups will start encountering the kind of the overlapping areas with
Right.
blockchains and crypto, right? So
Right.
it's good to understand them anywhere, because you can come up with a business model which has an overlap and then explode really big on the market. Plus, it also offers, especially I would say for Indian entrepreneurs, I
Mhm.
am very optimistic that this will kind of take our entrepreneurs on a global stage. Like till now, we
Right.
don't have many products which are big products in the global markets, right?
Right.
We are not known to be a country.
Country.
But
Right.
now, because of, and I feel that there are a lot of reasons, that the VC funding, the kind of VC funding that is available, the kind of like free, because of it being free market, the foreign startups, bigger startups
Mhm.
keep coming in here and then start
Right.
taking
Right.
the market share and all that. Uh, but I think this market offers a very unique opportunity where Indian entrepreneurs can build for the globe, right,
Right.
for the
Right.
global audience. And I'm very optimistic that the kind of the entrepreneurial class we have, it's absolutely top notch, and we will be one of the
Right.
biggest Web3 app producers in the world very soon. So yeah,
Yeah.
please take your plunge as soon as possible. That's my only advice.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time. And it will be live on YouTube. And I'll send you the link. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your time. All right. Thank
Thank
you.
you
Oh,
everyone, and thanks for having me here. Thanks.
thank you. Bye.